Hey everybody, I'm back. So let's see, there's probably some of you that have been following the progress of the Scirocco and wondering where the heck is this guy? He hasn't posted in a couple months now. Well, I have an explanation for that. So let's see, over the last 3 weeks I decided to go take some time off and spent some really nice time touring around northern Italy. Spent some time in Venice and Verona. Then decided, since I was halfway there, why not spool on down a little bit to Dubai and Abu Dhabi via Istanbul, which was an awesome time. And then on the way back, turns out that I had a bonus night in Dublin, Ireland. I've been there before, but unfortunately one of the flight attendants on my American Airlines flight passed away mid-flight.
What?
We diverted to Dublin, which after several unexpected pints and some bangers and mash, came back a week or so ago. So yeah, I've been away, having some good time. Woohoo! I don't necessarily recommend going to the United Arab Emirates in the middle of summer. The only word I can think about in June in the UAE is oppressive.
So I made it to the Dubai Marina Mall, and you cannot underestimate the oppressive heat.
105 degrees Fahrenheit and 50% humidity teaches you real quick to stay inside, take taxis, etc. But beautiful place. I'd recommend, if you've never been there, to go check it out, both Dubai and Abu Dhabi. Okay, so now that I'm back, I actually did get some work done on the heater matrix before I left, and then spent the last week sort of getting it put back together. No matter what I did, no matter where I looked all over the world, I could not find a heater core, the heater core specifically that goes with a Scirocco with factory air conditioning. So I'm going to keep both fingers crossed and reuse it. I don't have any other path forward unless I was to do a complete AC delete, and then that poses another problem because the heater matrix itself is completely different, and trying to find one of those is probably even a more insurmountable task. So cleaned up the heater core, cleaned up the evaporator for the AC, did a flush on it, which you'll see in a little bit. Put it all back together, resealed with some new weather stripping, and the next thing after this video is to get it put back in the car. So I've got sort of a list of things. As I was messing around inside after the dash came out to get the heater core out, I noticed that one of the bearings on the steering column doesn't look like it's in good shape. So I did secure a kit that should be able to rebuild the steering column. That'll be a future video. Hopefully once that's done, then I'll be able to get everything reassembled. I had thought about sending the dash away to be reskinned. That's turning out to be at least a 4-month effort at the cost of about $2,500 US.
Are you fucking crazy?
At the moment, I'm not inclined to do that. I really do, regardless of how much progress y'all think I've been making on this car, I really do want to get it back on the road. So at the moment, I think I'm going to put the old dash back in, keep scouring maybe eBay to see if there's something that's cheaper for a left-hand drive Scirocco. But at the moment, try to get this thing put back together and see if we can get the cylinder head back on. As everybody knows, there's still some work underneath that I need to do to remove some brackets to get the new, and that's coming up, new exhaust downspout. Thank you to the folks that helped me out with that. I sincerely appreciate it, and I'll be giving a shout out to both of you in a future video. So with that said, now that I'm back, I'm rested, even though where I live today is going to be triple digits, although the humidity is going to be in the low teens. It is hot. The garage gets a little hot. I did put in a new large 24-inch fan to keep the wind moving and keep it somewhat bearable in here. Let's get into the video where I rebuild this 1985 Volkswagen Mk2 Scirocco heater matrix.
Good night and party on!
Alright, so let's see on this other side. On the US, this would be the driver's side. There is another panel right here that has got 4 screws on it, and you can see up here these are the 2 hoses coming into the heater core, which is underneath here. And there you can kind of see the heater core, and there's some clamps right here that go out to the hoses that go through the firewall and into this valve. So the 2 hoses coming out of the firewall are right here and right here, these 2 guys. So I think what I'll do is loosen up the clamps on the inside if I can, going into the heater core, so right up underneath in here, and see if I can pull those clamps, pull those hoses through the firewall and into the engine bay. This thing is captured by these hoses up here, which sort of seems like a really stupid design to me. It's hard to see. There's one of them. Too many wires hanging in here. There you can see them, and that piece won't come out. So I guess I'll take those clamps off.
Okay, so I tried and fiddled with the hose clamps that were right at the inlet to the heater core for quite a while, and it soon became apparent that I wasn't going to make any progress. So what I did was just go ahead and leave those attached to the inlet, and after the whole heater matrix was ready to be pulled out the entire thing through the firewall, and it ended up working out fine.
Alright, well that didn't come out too difficult, wasn't on real hard. Next one I want to do is up here. We'll see if that one's on tight. But you can see it just goes through the firewall. Hopefully I can just snake both of those out. But we'll see if we can get this one off next. Alright, I was able to break this one loose. It was on considerably tighter than the other, but there we go. So now we got both of these loose, and we'll see if I can snake these through the firewall. Yeah. Let's see, obviously here's the blower motor, and then this is the blend door, and unlike some of the other VWs that I've seen of this era, maybe it's because it's got the air conditioning, this blend door has no holes in it, which is what I was worried about, all this foam coming off. So it obviously moves up and down, or moves like so. I don't think that there's anything that needs to be done except maybe working on re-foaming the edges, but it looks pretty good.
Let's get this shit over with.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Before I go any further, I just realized that since I'm hopefully going to try to do a conversion from the old system to the new, there's O-rings all around that need to be replaced to accept the new refrigerant. So these are just a few of them. I did get a kit of new O-rings, so let's take a look and see what's in here. So let's see, this says Santec. Yeah, and there you go. There's a whole set of new O-rings that go all sorts of different places. And before I get this thing buttoned up, I'll make sure that I at least change these two and figure out where all the rest of them go. Getting this box put back together, here's the output of the heater core, and each one of these things, when the clamshell comes together, these clips need to go on. And this has not been an easy task. Well, you can get up under this little thing when you take them off and they flip off. Using your hand to put those back on is virtually impossible. So what I've been doing is employing some channel locks and kind of holding it in place and then taking a hammer and banging that thing down on. So I've got quite a few more to go, and let's see if I can get the rest of these on without cracking this box. And I've got all the clips on. Woohoo! All these goddamn mother piece of shit clips. Not fun. So this thing is essentially rebuilt. Last thing I need to do is put on this fan cover. And the fan cover actually has got some, not real easy to see, I'm sorry,
It's got some ribs
Rib for her pleasure. Ew.
right here and here,
Ew.
which correspond to a key basically. Those fit over those ribs on the front and the back. It only goes on one way. I did try to put it on two different ways. This sliding over is not the correct way. Doesn't fit. So if you turn this around with the sliding that over, sliding that in both, it's slid right in here. What I'm gonna have to do is push the case to engage these clips, and then this thing will be done. Alright, with this thing put back together, the only thing that's really perplexing me is getting these new hoses coming off of the heater core right. And while I believe the curved end goes through the firewall,
That's what she said.
or it should probably go through the firewall about here, I'm not sure whether I've got the rotational orientation of these hoses correct. And I looked, there's another piece which is a cover which will go on to cover those hoses.
Seems like a really stupid design to me.
And those hoses have to come through these two holes on the top. So I went back and took a look at each of these hoses, and lo and behold, if this shows up on the video, right here, around here, you can see where this hose has got rub marks from coming through these holes. And this one seems to be shorter, and this one over here you can very clearly see it's longer. It goes way back, comes around here, and then comes in. So this one corresponds to this bigger hole, this one to the smaller hole. So if I put these back in here and line up these scuff marks, it should tell me the orientation that these new hoses need to go to. While it probably doesn't matter because they are hoses and they have some twist to them, I just want to put them on right, because I think once I start putting this matrix back in the car, the mess that it is, it's going to be real tight.
That's what she.
So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and put these back in here and see what it looks like. And here's the mark, and lo and behold, it fits perfectly. And now I can see the orientation of these hoses coming out. So basically it looks like they're coming out and then the curve is off to the right and straight. And then if you kind of look at it straight on, that's exactly what would be going through the firewall grommet. So if you're doing this job yourself, you may want to take a look, because I remember taking this thing apart and not taking very many pictures, and this is super helpful to go back and look at these.